I'm going to record it on my computer as well, because it just has much better quality of sound and video. Yeah, I absolutely agree with you there, Suzanne. So the first book that I ever wrote, which was Sarah's Little Book of Healing, really addresses that shadow side and how to work with kind of soul trauma, really. So I really recommend that book if anybody wants to find out, you know, how Sarah works with that and what she has to say about it. And yeah, it's called Sarah's Little Book of Healing because it is quite small.
It is.
But it is full of practical exercises and things to work with. It's really a workbook, isn't it, Suzanne?
Yes, it's a workbook, as we are a work in progress. So it assists us in really, I don't know, it's bit by bit. And I think that the beauty of it is Sarah and this whole system meets us where we are. So it's a gentle process. It doesn't have to be severe. And that's what I love about it, unless that's what you resonate with. So I think it's all individual. We are all unique in our own pace, so to speak. But the book offers meditations. It offers so much information. It's chock full of information about Sarah and how she works in our lives.
Yeah, and it's been really great actually pulling this webinar together, because with all my work, I'm a channel, and so like stuff comes through, and after a certain amount of working with things, I tend to turn them into some sort of system so that other people can work with them, you know, because I want to share these things. You know, I'm here as a channel, but as a teacher. And so when this kind of healing system came through, all the energies were there, all the initiations were there. Did I really know what it was? No. And we're still in that process of figuring it out. And I think I've got a little bit closer this year with working with this seminar. So let me just share the second screen that I made for us. And this is the screen here, and it says how you can dive deep into healing and embodying your higher self with Sarah, daughter of the Magdalene, and her host of angels. Because the way I advertise this webinar is that this is an Ascension tool. And that's exactly what it is. And I've always said all along, I wish we had another word to use for healing. Because I know there's something else that needs to be said about it, but I can't find another word. Our language is so restricted. It's so three-dimensional. It's so 3D. And this energy that Sarah is bringing in. So let me just pause there. Perhaps you want to say something, because I want to go to the next slide. I don't know if you want to add something in there.
Sure, absolutely. And I think that, you know, embodying your higher self, isn't that what we're all doing now, more often than not? And I think that you know, living in duality, allowing us to share the darkness and the light, and to create a balance in that field so that the divine I am presence or our higher self can work through us. And honestly, I think we're getting to a point where we're moving away from an ego-based self and recognizing that the lower voice into our higher space. You're using more discernment in what we say, connecting in the place of more of a loving space to share with humanity, instead of that edge, instead of the anger, instead of the immediate responses that cause hurt feelings or chaos around us. I think to take the time to pause, I think that Sarah is offering us a way to clear that out, to recognize that we are just so much more than what we know about ourselves. And the loving space that we can hold for those around us changes the entire atmosphere. And I think that's all part of the ascension process, is recognizing us in our more expansive self, as opposed to what we've been trained to believe as limited beings and kept in a box. So I think her level of, I think that's probably why, Rachel, it's difficult to put words to this, because of the expansive properties of the energy field that she holds.
Yeah, well, that's it. So if we say a little bit about, who Sarah is, because she's really a mythological figure. This is not somebody who we've grown up with, that's been part of our, religious teachings, or, she's come to many of us through like direct contact with us, through personal experience in meditations, or perhaps you've seen her mentioned and you just get that feeling, that thrill of something. We're coming across her in these ways. And yeah, so she's the daughter of Mary Magdalene and Yeshua, but she's very much come through as an ascended master for the New Age. So she's there for like our next step in our evolution, and she holds the blueprint for the new earth and new humanity. I mean, there is new humanity, it's us, but we're the ones that are evolving, and she holds that blueprint of what it is that we are evolving into. And so it kind of makes sense that I think we'll have to come up with another name for it, Suzanne. I mean, I know I've been saying this for some years now, but it makes sense that her healing system, it's actually an ascension tool to help us move into these blueprints. And yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Well, again, it's the expansion. So I think that, yeah, it will evolve, and I'm sure something's going to come to you to help assist in expanding the name in whatever way, shape, or form. Sarah will bring it through, I'm sure.
Yeah, it'll all come in divine timing.
Yes,
everything does. I'll just pause for a moment and just ask Sarah if there is something she wants to say about what we've said already. So I'll just go quiet for a moment and have a listen and see if there's something she wants to say. So she's really redirecting me back to the heart, because when I talk about these higher energies, I get very excited. I kind of go up higher and higher, and it can be a little bit addictive working with these energies, because they are so high vibrational. And that's it. Sarah is the bridge. She brings us back into ourselves. She brings us back into our bodies, and she's there constantly connecting the two of us together, our divinity and our humanity. And that's sort of when I say the two of us, that's one of the things that I mean. I also mean all of the other polarities, the masculine and the feminine, the dark and the light, the heaven and the earth, the so on and the so on. She's there bringing in this oneness. Yeah. There's something that you want to say about that, Suzanne?
Yes. And I've noticed, when you talk about the divine feminine and the masculine within us, that's kind of a fairly new aspect that I learned fairly recently. I didn't realize that, I always consider myself a female, but we do have both aspects within us. And for Sarah to come in at this time when there's such an imbalance on the planet, to be able to balance those aspects within us, I think That is key. Instead of taking so much action and planning and being in our head spaces, as you said, with the masculine, I think the receptivity and the processing and the nurturing of the divine feminine within us creates a beautiful semblance of an interweaving, as you wrote in your book, you know, weaving the strands of Sarie. I do believe that that's what she's doing within each of us, and expanding those aspects, because it's really critical. And I have to tell you, Rachel, that I do take the time. It's really been a process within self, and it's notable because I do find that going from the headspace and the thinking and and all of that energy that you just spoke about to go into the heart, that balancing is life-changing, because you don't full speed, you know, go full speed ahead. You take the time to pause and process.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is quite good for me to like check in with Sarah every now and then, because I have to go into a completely different space to do that. You know, I go from sort of like being all inspired and excited and talking to like having to go right back down deep into myself and in my body so that I can listen. And then I have to be quiet. I have to be quiet in order to do that. And I think, you know, even just the act of doing that, it's always a good reminder for someone who's listening, who goes, yeah, I need to remember to do that. I need to remember to do that too. So yeah, Sarah really, really puts us back in our bodies. And I just want to say a little bit about without going too much into it, because it's another whole conversation. But so when I first stepped on my spiritual path, it was really a journey to the divine feminine, which was amazing and wonderful. And I rediscovered so many sort of old parts of my soul and the goddess. And now that I'm in my 50s, it's more and more into the divine masculine. And I'm putting together like a healing class for working with the witch wound. And I pulled cards for different things that I wanted to work with. And all these divine masculine cards came up over and over again. Wow. And yeah, I was like, what is this about? And I talked to my husband about it. And he is a psychoanalyst trained in the way of Carl Jung, which some of you may have heard of, but he's the one that, you know, invented archetypes and all of this kind of stuff. And he said to me, well, you know, if you look at it, we've been living in a patriarchy, and then there's a lot of wounded masculine stuff going on. So the feminine has sort of lived with and taken in all these images of the wounded masculine.
Yes.
We have all this wounded masculine trauma inside of us. And what happens when things are inside of us? We project them out into the world. So we have to heal that wounded masculine. And I'm like, that is not what I expected from, you know, healing the wounded witch kind of thing. I thought it would all be about the divine feminine, but, you know, and this is all very, very Sarah, but I'll stop because that's not what we're supposed to be talking about. No, Rachel, no. This is one of my problems. I get you know, so enthusiastic. But I
think it's all connected, though.
It is. It is.
Yeah, I don't think there's no separation in wounds. No. You know, we label them as such. I feel that it's all connected. And I do agree that the masculine is very wounded. Therefore, the reason for the anger, the attack, and the aggressiveness that's been so prevalent, you know? Yeah.
But that's it. We all carry the divine masculine and the divine feminine inside of us. So therefore, we also all have the power for healing with those things. But I will go on to the next slide. And that is, what is healing with Sarah and the angels? Okay, so I said that bit already. It's a powerful ascension tool. And there's 3 energies here. So this is for people who love to work with energies. This is for people who are into all the metaphysical stuff. And also, Suzanne, when I don't know what you will think about this, but as I was kind of going through this, and I've been talking to some other people about this system recently, and I said, you know, this would be great for anybody to have, the initiations, actually. Even people who are not interested in healing and who never want to be a healer. Of course, you can use it in those ways, but just to have the initiations for your energy body, it's like an act of grace, because it's kind of opening you up so that it's much easier to take on this next level of evolution. And, you know, as we know, shifting matter, it's not that easy. There's quite a lot of challenges. So the 3 energies that we work with in this healing system, we have a white flame of divinity, we have Sarah's lilac violet flame, and we have Sarah's emerald flame. And we're going to go through and tell you a little bit about how that works. Did you want to start? You start with the white flame, Suzanne.
Sure. So it's actually Sarah's angels who carry this white flame of divinity. And to me, calling them in, it offers almost like a purity, a safety, a support. It's a beautiful white light. Of course, white to me represents purification. And they also hold the level of the cosmic Christ, which is that of it's really a divine flame of oneness and unity. And that's what we are all basically working towards as part of the ascension process. And isn't it really all of this doing our own work so that we change our own energy field to kind of, as we're always told, to tread a path so others could follow. And that's exactly what the angels carry and hold, and actually create this space of, like I said, safety, and their beautiful white, and just removing any denser energies to make room for the next aspect of the violet flame that Sarah holds. That's kind of my experience with the white light. It's a lightness, an energetic lightness. It's a revealing a lighter aspect of self.
Yeah, it's a really, really beautiful energy. And then that comes first. And then after that, because what it does, that white energy, is it takes you up to that level of vibration that you're at, which is your higher self. So that white flame of divinity, that takes you and connects you to your vibration that is in that white flame, which is your higher self. And then you can like take on, I sort of almost think of it as like a little sponge, like going like sucking in all these bits that you need for your next level of the journey. And when you have like the healing session, the healer who's working with you, it is like you're being bodily lifted up into that white flame. Then you come back down, but within your physical body, your etheric body, your mental body, your emotional body, and so on and so forth, all the stuff that is blocked to that next bit comes up. So Sarah has her own vibration of the violet flame, and so do a lot of beings. The earth, Gaia, has her own vibration of the violet flame. Different ascended masters have their own vibration of the violet flame. Many of us actually work with different aspects of the violet flame, because there is actually a really big range to it. And Sarah's is the lilac violet flame, and it is a tool for her to assist us as we go through this transmutation, transformation process that we're in, going from 3D to 5D. They're not my favorite terms. I don't have better ones.
Yes, yes, I agree. I agree.
Yeah, but when I say it, like, hopefully most of you will have come across that before, but it's, we're shifting from one vibration of consciousness to another. That needs a lot of power behind it. And so, yeah, Sarah's violet flame, that comes in and does its job, and it's rather lovely.
It is. It definitely is. It's very it's an amazing transformation tool. And I've been using it for quite a while now. Of course, I work with Saint Germain as well, who is the guardian of the violet flame. But in the healing sessions in particular, I find that it's just a gentle cleansing. And it meets people where they're, and you can use it. There's such a vastness to it that you can use it for so many aspects of your life. I know that there has been, we're not supposed to talk about any physical healings, but I believe in miracles, and there are many things that happen as a result of using the violet flame as well. And it really does assist us in the ascension process, in clearing out anything that no longer serves us, whether it be in the mental body, the physical body, the emotional body, the etheric, all of the subtle bodies, all of our auric fields, things that possibly could come into our physical could be transformed and transmuted with the violet flame. So it's a beautiful part of the healing system. I believe that it's part of the completion, the complete healing system that actually assists in the next level to further connect with our divine I am presence as well. Wouldn't you say, Rachel?
Yeah, and actually it's the bit that people tend to love the most. And I think it's because that's where we are evolutionary wise at the moment. We really just need clearing.
Yes, yes. Ongoing.
And that's in ourselves, in our homes, in the landscape where we live. There is a lot of clearing work, but it's not the end of the story. It really isn't the end of the story. And I'll just share that screen again. The third flame, it's Sarah's emerald flame, and I've put up a picture there of like emerald grass. It's not quite the color that I see, but it was the closest that I could get to it when I was having a look at images. And so this third flame or energy, it takes what has come down from the higher dimensions and then has been able to be in the body because the violet flame has cleared the blocks, because it's no good just bringing down things from above. They'll just kind of sit there in our layers, but they won't get down to the physical. We need them in the physical because we live in the physical.
Yes.
It's all very well, things being up there when you meditate, go up into high states of consciousness. Yes, fantastic. We need it here. We need it here and now. So the violet flame, it clears the path. It allows it to come in. And then Sarah's emerald flame, it comes in and it weaves it into matter. She weaves it into matter. So this flame, it's a flame of healing. It's a flame of manifestation. It's the power of nature, of the life force, of the earth. It's very, very earthy. And it's what actually makes all of those things that your higher self wants you to have be possible to actually be here. And this is the thing that a lot of us are missing a lot of the time. We get 2/3 of the way there and then we get stopped and we're like, well, I don't know why that didn't, it all seemed like really good and yet somehow it didn't get through, because we're still at a very, very heavy and dense level of matter.
Yes, I agree.
I could sit here and say, if you visualize really, really hard, it'll all just happen. But, there's an alchemy to these things, and there's steps that it's really, really useful to take.
Absolutely. I agree. And I do believe that what I find unique about the system is this grounding energy and being able to move on the earth feeling differently, feeling lighter, but yet grounded with the new energy that Sarah brings through with the angels. I think it's very important because most of us like to stay up here in the etheric and just kind of float around, but we need the body, we need us fully present physically on the earth, walking on the earth really in with more compassion and love. And I think this system helps clear out all of the edginess, etc., and helps us more really walk in more of a path of wisdom, of love, and our with our divine selves intact, which
Mm,
is so missing now.
mm,
With the balance of the divine feminine and the masculine, the extremes are balanced within self. And
mm.
I think that's what makes it more beautiful. And again, yeah, look how beautiful this screen is with the oneness. I love that.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, going back to like that shadow aspect, there's an allowing with Sarah, and this is one of the things I wrote about in that first book. You know, this is one of her like foundational principles: allowing. If you're angry, you're angry. It's not about trying to get away from it as fast as possible,
Hmm.
but it is about being with that and then inviting in what needs to come in with that, because
Hmm.
mainly the problems we have, it is about separation. Things get split off, and that doesn't work so well.
No,
Just
it
like
doesn't.
human beings, if we're split off from everybody else and we're isolated and alone, it's not great. We are designed to be interdependent, and so is our psychology, so is our energy systems. You know, you got some
Yes.
darkness, you invite in some light. If you've got too much light, you need to invite in some darkness. And that has,
Yes.
like, you know, you can sort of come up with so many different examples of that. It's really fascinating. But like you say, Suzanne, it's all about balance. And that's what sort of wanted to come up when I was talking, you know, doing the slide for receiving a healing session. It was that, you know, it's like there's nothing wrong with any of it.
Exactly. The non-judgment of it. And I think that we've been under the misperception of always going into the light, but it really makes us more relatable to share both sides of self.
I mean, in the Hindu system of understanding the universe, they have this really interesting idea that humanity has an oversoul. And
Mm.
so everything that we are exists within that one oversoul. So everything that we are, everything that we have been, and then each of us take on a different part of it, depending on, I think this last bit could be my interpretation of it. I'm not sure I've read this. Everyone takes on their own bit of that oversoul. So someone has to take on the evil bit. Someone
Hmm.
has to take on the, oh,
Yes.
I'm an amazing, you know, enlightened being bit. We
Yes.
all do
Hmm.
what is needed at that point in our soul's evolution. And the evil ones are not necessarily because they're like new souls. They could also be very old souls performing an act of grace. So yeah,
Wow. That's
yeah.
profound. And really, as people judge the negative, this adds a whole different dimension of thought to that, to the evil, to the negative, because it's all part of the the duality that we live in, and there's no really escaping it, because honestly, if we react and respond to something, I hate to say it, there's something within us that needs to be taken a look at too, because we carry both aspects within us too. Don't you
Mm.
think?
Mm. Yeah, and there's always a lot of gold in the darkness. Although
Yes.
I have to say, this year and last year, I was just talking to my eldest son's dad this morning. He's been having a really tough time, and yeah, I've had a really tough time the last year. I could do with a little bit less gold at the moment, I think.
I hear you. This has been a big year of transformation, wouldn't you say?
yeah, but yeah, last year was also the same. So I'm
Yeah.
starting to really ask the universe now, could you just like lighten up a bit?
Lighten up.
Yeah.
I know. I think we'll be getting there. We'll be getting there. It's a process.
I mean, how do you find people respond, Suzanne, when you're giving them healing sessions with this, particular energy system?
Yes. Well, again, it's people feel very blissed out towards the end. They actually love it. The refinement, I always feel it really meets you where you are. There's not much, there's no severity to it. And I feel people just love it. They're very receptive to it. I've been doing this even at expos and one-to-one, my family, long distance, on my pets. I use the system on my pets as well. And the opportunities keep on coming across my path. So I believe Sarah is definitely working. And I believe that, because of the clearing, people notice a difference in their energy fields because of the 3-part system. And they can better connect with their true self, their authentic self, and be able to release all of the old, worn out ways of communicating, of being, of thinking, because it works completely in the energy field of each person that I come across.
Yeah, exactly. And so, this is one of the things that Sarah's come to do. She has come to show us how to live embodied ascension, or you could say live heaven on earth. And yeah, I mean, I get people to write down their feedback. And so this is something someone wrote down. And she said, I felt like I'd gone to heaven. It felt incredibly strong and powerful. I went out completely and came back at the end. And that was when, like, Sarah's flame, I often see it as like a blade of grass going through, like, the chakra underneath the feet.
The earth star
Yeah,
chakra.
the earth star chakra. And it just like roots us right, roots us right back in, and she roots us right back into the new earth grid.
Yeah, we take different steps on the earth with the energy that's flowing through us. Then, it's like we're walking differently on the earth.
Yeah.
There's a more solid ground, so to speak, that we're walking on when we're moving with a different energy field around us. Within us, because we have so much potential. And I truly believe, as we call this, the Ascension healing tool, we're still discovering the potentiality that we have within us. And shedding the old is key, because we've gotten into such habits. So it's nice to find out a little bit of the new energy that exists within us, that to bring forth and share with others.
Yes, absolutely. I'll just tune into Sarah and see if she's got a little bit she wants to add. Yeah, so she's, oh, that's interesting. She's saying how. So, like, the first part of a healing session will be connecting with this, like, angelic energy that then connects you to your own divinity. And then we bring that in, and she weaves it in. And, the first thing she was pointing me towards was like that nature energy. This emerald flame is really like grounding us into the new earth grid. But it's from connecting to that divinity within us that we can truly love the natural world.
Yes.
I've never thought of it in that way.
That's perfect. I love that. Makes perfect sense, because we're part of everything.
Yeah. So the more we connect, and then I know this is kind of obvious, but it's like, I haven't thought of it quite in this way. The more we connect to our divinity, the more we see that beauty in the natural world around us and just like love it. Like,
Yes.
even more and even more deeply. So if any of you have experienced, and I have actually, the older I've got, the more I love nature, the more I just want to sit and listen to a bird singing or watching a butterfly or a bumblebee going by. And it's like I get so much more joy out of it now. And I think a lot of that is because as I've gone through life, I've been gathering more and more bits of my soul that were lost and connecting more to my higher self. And so I can have that more full experience. But I like the thought that you can get even better.
Yes, absolutely. And it's true, because I find I crave being outside in nature more and more now. And just watching a squirrel eat an acorn, or just watching the birds fly around. These simple things. I feel like a deeper connection to the earth now. And I think that's part of the unique beauty. And I also feel that we're able to see things and see others in a better way, with less judgment, because we're grounded in a more authentic, loving place to experience humanity differently around us.
Sure.
Even if they may be raging.
Yeah.
And I have that many a times that I see in my workplace, and people who come in who are frustrated, but viewing them in a place of fear and understanding and having more compassion. And I think that's what we're all here gaining. That's part of the ascension process. If we don't have love, how are we going to move through this? And move in the ascension process, it's about having more love to share with others and humanity, and the animal kingdom, everything. That's why things are changing so much, where you see more people having more compassion for animals, and that's really what it's all about. It's all about the love that we can share with one another as well. And that's why the system clears out all of the denser aspects, so that we can get more to that feeling, and then connect the headspace where we get our divine inspiration to the heart and bring that forward in a unique way. If each of us, it's unique because of the energy that we each hold. And I always say we're pieces of a puzzle that fit together.
Absolutely. I just wanted to bring us to the initiations then. So there's a 3-month training, which sounds like quite a lot, I guess, but really they're 3-hour classes with kind of homework in between, where you do self-healing practice. And there's 3 levels, but actually it's one thing. Just like the flames, there's three flames, but actually they are all part of Sarah's flame of unity. There are 3 aspects to it. Yes. And the 3 levels are: you get initiated into the white flame of divinity, you get initiated into Sarah's violet flame, and you get initiated into Sarah's emerald flame. So you're holding those flames in your heart, and you can tap into them at any point and access them. And up until now we have focused on this as a healing system, but I am starting to wonder now about that. And I think, I don't think there's anything wrong in seeing it like that, but I'm just seeing it, there's actually a place here for people who just want to have the first 3 initiations and who have no interest in practicing healing on other people. So yes, I have 3 Sarah teachers. We have Suzanne, Besame, who's in Australia, which is handy because they are on a completely upside down timeline to us. It's really difficult to be in a class if you're on the opposite side of the world. And we have Louise as well, who's in the UK, and they do the first 3 initiations, and then I teach people on level 4, which is the practitioner's level, and that's for people who want to work as a healer basically, and already are a healer. And then the level 5 is becoming a Sarah teacher. But the initiations are amazing. It is just the most beautiful class I've ever been in or ever taught. And this is something that someone said that was in one of the classes. She said, Sarah's energy is just out of this world. Such a gift to mankind, I think. For me, day-to-day life is Sarah, her angels, the archangels, the ascended masters. I feel the energy of the divine presences. I never feel lonely and always feel looked after. Like Rachel, I am sure, and many other people, I feel a oneness.
Beautifully stated.
Yeah, I think it was Fern. I think it was Fern who.
I love her. She's such a beautiful soul, Fern.
She was in the first class of people that I ever initiated. And this doesn't mean that you don't get angry and have bad days and sad and, you know, crappy and all the rest of it, because that is part of being human. But this is about, as Megan Watterson has said so eloquently, about being fully human and being fully divine.
Yes.
As well. And
absolutely.
That's where we're trying to move towards.
Absolutely.
How do you find teaching the classes, Suzanne?
Well, I love the energy that comes through. And people are very, very receptive to receiving the energies that come through. And I think the timing of them is perfect. There is an initiatory process that goes on, of course. And I find that you know, you may need to change the way you eat, and because the physical body is taxed a bit, as in with any healing modality, you go through an initiatory process that helps to take you to another level to integrate the new energies. But I find that people are very receptive to them, and it works in perfect timing. You know, you complete the one process, the first initiation, then you go to the next, and then Sarah. So I believe that the timing and just the energies that come through to support you during that time, and you follow your inner guidance, it works out beautifully, and most people do very well with it.
And actually that thing, so one of the expressions I use is that Sarah is in all of the spheres, and that means that whatever level of vibration you're at, you can contact her. Yes. And feel that contact. And that's not necessarily true of all ascended masters, because some of them live in very elevated kind of vibrational states. But because Sarah is a bridge, because she holds this energy of oneness, she can reach you wherever you are. Absolutely. So, like, even when I'm really, really pissed off and all the rest of it, I still feel like I can talk to her. I can still reach her. She's still there. She's truly a sister. Yes.
Well, she works, I think, with all of our humanness, and there's no, and again, no judgment. And I believe that comes from a loving place. And that is so important, because we judge ourselves so much that she kind of assists us in just accepting all of our humanness and walking differently on the earth. And there's a level of insulation with the energy field, being able to tap into these three divine flames that we have. And I do believe, as much as we can heal others, it's for ourselves first. Because as we heal ourselves, we actually could assist others anyway.
Absolutely. It's a bit like that aircraft thing, isn't it? Before you give the oxygen to somebody, you've got to give it to yourself first so that you don't pass out. So yes. I need the healing. Next week, next Tuesday at the same time, me and Louise, who is the other Sarah teacher that I mentioned, we're going to be doing a Sarah healing session. So if you want to experience that, I will be sending that out, and also it will be live in the Facebook.
Love that.
I think you have a training class coming up soon. Is that right, Suzanne?
I do. If anybody is interested, you can go to my website to contact me, www.ascensionbliss.com, or you can email me at essentialbliss@gmail.com. I'm starting it on September 30th. And I will be offering it in Manalapan, where I live in New Jersey, at the new Heart of Oneness sanctuary. So it's a beautiful opportunity to have this wonderful place that just opened recently. And Matt and Karen, who offer the expo here in New Jersey, just recently opened that. So I'll be holding it there, and there's no distance because I can always connect you via Zoom as well. So if anybody's interested, so it'll be September 30th, October 21st, and 11/11 for the final initiation, which is very timely. Yeah, I didn't realize that when I set the dates that's how it would work out. But of course, Sarah had other thoughts about it. So it works out beautifully.
Yeah. And if you're wondering if it does work over Zoom, it does work over Zoom.
Yeah.
Everyone that I've taught over Zoom because I live in Denmark. There is no one around me physically that has received this. I have taught everything across time and space, and it is incredible. And I have to say that I am really looking forward to the day, though, where I can actually do it physically.
Yes, yes. Do you know, it's a funny thing because I was able to do the second certification class in my house, but there were other issues. So I had like 1 or 2 people show up, and then I do a couple on Zoom. So it worked out beautifully, but there was no time and distance in the energy that came through. You're right.
It is really cool. Now, I think I have just one last slide left. Let me have a look. Yes, there it is. I'm just going to share that. So we are looking for new Sarah healers and teachers. If you're interested, you can go on my website, rachelgoodwin.dk, because I'm in Denmark, and then there's a little section on Sarah healing, and you can find the Sarah teachers and healers. I have a list of people on there, and Suzanne and Louise and Bethany are right at the top. Also, Suzanne, if you send me your dates for that class, I'll send it out on the newsletter. Perfect. As well, so that people can see it on there.
Absolutely.
If you're not on my newsletter, it is the best way to get information. I try not to like spam and send too much stuff out. Occasionally I go through periods where I'm doing a lot of stuff, and you might get a few more emails there, and then you might not hear from me for a while. I'm supposed to be consistent. I've been taught this. I'm supposed to send out emails consistently, but I'm afraid I fail at that. And it just
I don't know if you're failing, Rachel. I just think it's part of being human. I'm the same. So
it happens as it happens. And before we stop for any questions that people might have, I just want to cheekily sneak this in, because I am doing a retreat next year.
Oh, how exciting. That's
Glastonbury.
beautiful. Oh, wow.
So I'm just putting that in there.
Love it.
I have an information list. If anybody wants to join that, I can send you information. Just send me your email. There's beautiful pictures, are both of Sarah in Glastonbury, painted by Cheryl Rose, who I also have like a print on my website that I have of Sarah that she did just for me many years ago. Oh, and it's going to be beautiful. Amazing. This is the first retreat I've ever done for Sarah. My personal life is very challenged. I have a son with special needs. It could be the last one. I don't know if I'll ever be able to do another one again, but there will be one happening next April. So if you're interested in that, that's just to let you know about it.
So exciting.
I know.
Another step in the process, right?
She comes through so strongly in Glastonbury. I mean, it is like, you know, I've had times when because I used to go there a lot when I lived in the UK, especially when in times of need. She was kind of like, Glastonbury was the mother that I ran to, because my own mother had passed in 96. So Glastonbury sort of took her place. And I just hear Sarah talking to me like she was literally sitting there, and it was slightly disturbing. And then over the years, other people have written to me and said the same thing. My God, I could hear her voice actually. And it's because she was physically there.
Wow.
She just
I love
disappears.
it.
She has
I
a
love
really,
it.
really strong imprint.
Beautiful offering.
Is there any last bits you wanted to say before we open up for any questions?
Oh, I'm just grateful to be here and grateful to be aware of this system and to be able to share it. And thank you, Rachel, for presenting this and inviting me into this space. It's been such an honor to be able to share, and really it's life-changing. I feel major transformation within self, with the environment, everything around. So it's really a system for self. I really agree with you, for self first, because that's where everything emanates from. And then you have the ability to share it with others. So it's so complete in and of itself, and evolving.
Yeah,
Because the energies change,
yeah,
and it evolves with all of the energies that are changing on the planet, because we're evolving.
and it really, I think it really says something. I think this is quite a milestone, Suzanne, that we've got to the point where we've worked with it long enough and we know enough about it that we can actually put a webinar together about it.
Yes, I love it.
Woohoo!
I love it. This has been really a joy to start my day like this, Rachel. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Now I'm going to open it up and see if there is anybody who wants to give us any feedback, who wants to ask a question. Now is your moment. Is there anybody who wants to step forward? Is there anybody brave enough today? You can just unmute yourself if you want to say something. See, Lara's popping up there. Can't hear her though.
I love the golden, or is that a Cocker Spaniel that she has on her?
Yeah, that's a nice picture, isn't it?
Yes.
No, I don't think so. I don't think anybody. Wants to ask any questions. Well, I think we just have to assume, Suzanne, that we answered it all already.
Yes. All is complete for the moment.
Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah.
Hear me?
Hi.
Hi, it's Judah. I just wanted to say, I hope you can hear me. I'm driving in the car, but listening to everything was so amazing. I love the whole idea about this feminine violet flame too. You know, it's really bringing more of the gentleness and feminine energy into our consciousness, which I think is so much needed. So thank you so much for offering this information. I think both of you are fantastic. What you're doing is really life-changing, and I can't wait. Right now, my schedule doesn't allow me to participate, but hopefully down the road, things will open up and I can study the Sarah healing as well. I think it sounds like an amazing tool, and I know Suzanne personally, and her healing work is fantastic. So I can only imagine how much the Sarah work is going to enrich anyone who is on the path of enlightenment and transformation. So that's all I wanted to say, and I really wanted to thank you.
Thank you, Brigida.
Thank you both.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And yeah, these training courses are coming up regularly, and it's not something we're about to give up because we love doing it too much. So
yes,
we'll be around when
yes.
you need us.
So Brigida works with Saint Germain very closely. She's a dear friend of mine, so she's quite a beautiful beautiful soul on the earth, as well as all of us. Because all of us that are here, what are we here for? We just want to be better. We want to be better humans. We just want to feel better too. And I really feel that Sarah offers the vehicle to assist us, especially with the divine feminine at this time. Since, like we spoke about in the beginning, Rachel, with the patriarchal energy that's been so dominant, it really offers a beautiful way to weave in the feminine into the masculine.
Yeah,
differently. You know?
Absolutely. And that's it. And that patriarchal energy, that is not the divine masculine. We're here to open up and embrace the beauty and the gorgeousness of the divine masculine as much as we are the divine feminine. But that is something that we're stepping towards now. It would have been unthinkable for me to been doing that 20 years ago. I really wasn't ready for it.
And I'm sorry.
No, go on.
No, I just wanted to say it's beautiful to witness when a man is in touch with both sides of himself. It adds a whole different dimension of relatability and relationships. So I know I've done this on some men too, and you see a little shift in them, and it's quite beautiful to witness.
Yeah, and there are a
Right.
lot of men who are attracted to working with Sarah and her energy, especially more than I've seen with other sort of divine feminine archetypes. So
Mhm.
I think
Yes.
I
think
haven't
they feel
initiated any men yet, but it'll come.
it'll come. Absolutely. I'm sure that Sarah's preparing the way.
Yeah. Thank you everyone for coming. It's been wonderful, and I know a lot of you will be watching this on the replay in the days, weeks and months and maybe even years ahead, although perhaps we'll have done a new one by then. So lots of love, everyone. Remember to come and have healing with Sarah next week.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Suzanne. It was great.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. Take care, everyone.
See you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.